Are you ready to spring into sales instead of sliding into DMs? Let's quit doing those icky sliding into DMs when you don't really know what to say. Like one of the grossest things ever. Whoever's teaching this, stop. I don't even care if it works. Just stop. Every time I get a, hey, we can help you grow your course to your first 1,000 people. We've been watching you and we're mega fans in my DMs. I want to say, really? Oh, how long have you been in business? Oh, 3 years. That's amazing. I opened my course 12 or 13 years ago and had my first $1,000 12 or 13 years ago. So clearly you don't love my content. Clearly you know nothing about me. Like, I am so sick of people who teach that. It doesn't work, y'all. What does work in 2024 to get more in 2024? More customers, more money, more of what you love. Being real, being authentic. There's nothing wrong with sliding into somebody's DMs, except I hate that terminology. But there's nothing wrong with messaging somebody or a person who you genuinely do appreciate their content. There is nothing wrong with telling someone how you can help them. But do we have to be so flipping fake? I mean, I just want to say, shot through the heart, and you're to blame, darling. You give sales a bad name, bad name. Stop with the ick. That's it. That's how you spring into sales. No, I'm just kidding. So how do you spring into sales, right? Nobody really, I don't believe, would choose to be icky, sleazy, slimy, gross, crusty, musty, rusty, dusty. Although I had a manager when I was selling drugs, the legal kind, pharmaceutical sales, tell me, Kendrick, you're not really selling until you've been kicked out of an office. And I turned and looked at that man and said, my mama did not teach me to get thrown out of offices. I am not going to sell that way. It's not going to happen. And I think selling with authenticity ended up working out just fine because I was the #1 sales rep for my product in my entire company at that time. Later went on to be the #1 sales rep in the world for my product. If that doesn't prove that people are starved for authenticity, they are starved for real. So how are we going to spring into sales? We're going to get out of the sea of ick. We're going to get out of the sea of sameness. We're going to get out of the sea of sliding into somebody's DMs. And we are going to jump on over here into the sea of authenticity. And y'all know, I got 3 parts to the way I teach. Number 1, step-by-step, tactical, practical. Just the steps, just the facts. Number 2 is the why behind that, the foundational sales truths that you can't argue with. Kendrick didn't make them up, they just are. And then number 3, by infotainment, by trying to make this a little bit more fun and more engaging than your stereotypical, you are on lesson 2 of 148. So when you combine all that, you kind of get my teaching philosophy. Why the hell do you care about that? Because today I am going to give you number 2. It is a sales fact. You cannot argue with it. It is the truth. Not because I said so, but because it is. Like 2 + 2 is 4. So this is as true as that. Step 1 of selling anything is knowing what you're selling. Are you selling rock climbing, teaching, or how to paint houses? You got to know that. Step 2 is you got to know how to find your customers, period, full stop. Now, I know that everybody online jumps up and down with a megaphone and tells you, you need Facebook ads, you need a social strategy, you need to do webinars, you need to do affiliates, you need to do a course, you need to do a membership site. I'm already exhausted. I just want to scream, stop the noise. I mean, it's ridiculous. The truth is, all of those are just tactics to find your customers. You don't need all of them to find your first few customers or to find your next few customers. You need a plan that works for you. You need a plan that works for you. How do you find your customers? Here's a secret that everybody out there doesn't want me to tell you. There's no one right way. Yeah, just because Sally the expert says this is the only way, not true. There's no one right way. And that is the beauty of what I do here at Authentic Selling. And that is the beauty of what I do in Sales Prep School, Authentic Selling University, and Upper Level Selling. Lots of courses, lots of coaches, even one-on-one they have a one straight way to get you where you're going to go. And I like this pen, so I'm not going to break it, but it's not bendable. It's not pliable. It's not adjustable. Everything I teach you in Authentic Selling can adjust to your personality. So just for it worked for Kendrick doesn't mean it works for you. Just because it worked for Bill doesn't mean it works for you. So we take the foundations. You got to find your customers. And inside of Sales Prep School, we give you 25 ways to find those. Imagine having a resource with 25 ways to find your customers. You want to do a webinar? It's got every step. You want to pitch the media? It's got pitch after pitch, and I even give you my Steve Harvey pitch, what I pitched to get on Steve Harvey. You want to be on podcast? Great. I'll give you the step-by-step plan to pitch podcast, and I'll give you examples that you can take and tweak for your own business. Everything we do is bendable and pliable so that it works for you. So you have a choice. Do you want something that is rigid, that is not bendable, that worked for one person, so we're just going to jump up and down with jazz hands and insist that it works for everybody else, even if it feels icky, sleazy, slimy, gross, crusty, musty, rusty, dusty? Even if you feel like you need to take a shower and wash off the sales sludge when you're done. So let's spring. And let's do this in a way that lights you up. Step one, do you know who your customer is? Now, I don't mean all those words that you have to do with customer avatar. What I mean is, do you know, are you selling sleep coaching or are you selling mountain climbing? That's all you got to know. And then you get to move on to step two, which is how do you find your customers? And there's no one right way to do that. I'm willing to bet that some of y'all out here loathe, detest, refuse to do social media. Yet there's all this guilt and shame around social media, like you feel like you're not connecting with your customers, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? There are 24 other ways to find your customer. There are probably more than that. But we teach them all inside of Sales Prep School at a ridiculously affordable investment. We're talking less than $200. Imagine having a library for the life of your business that gets updated as the industry changes with 25 ways that you can find your customers. Imagine what that's like. What would happen if instead of going to Google, you went into a library of curated, proven for over a decade resources that have helped thousands of business owners finally find where their customers are? And you know what else? Once you start doing that, your customers actually seek you out. That's the dream, right? I don't want to feel like I'm on the prowl hunting. I want people to come to me. Yeah, well, that's what happens when you actually stop sliding and start springing into sales. Get access to Sales Prep School for less than $200 today. As sure as my hair is red, you will never look at finding your customers the same way. I believe in you. I believe in your business.